Yo, what up, friends? I hope you're all doing well. Today, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit more about Breach. In my last video, we really dived into one of the coolest things about Breach is being the grasping mails and the things that come out of the rings. If you haven't seen that video, there will be a link to it down below, up there in the corner. You can kind of click onto it and go take a look at what I'm talking about. Now, Breach itself is a very unique mechanic. It has been reworked, changed, what's to be killed or not to be killed. It's good, it's bad. There's a lot of very unique opinions on Breach. And overall, I personally really enjoy it, and I think it's a lot of fun. I also really like hunting grasping males, so this kind of goes hand in hand with a lot of what I want to do. Now, I've been running a really fun Breach strategy, both on stream and off stream. I've done a whole 32 map test. I know not a lot of maps, but I wanted to show you guys the mapping that I've been doing, the kind of strategy that I've been doing, and talking about one of two ways that I found out are really good at farming Breach rings. Now, today we're going to focus more on the mapping strategy with Sextants and Scarabs and the Atlas tree. And then in the next video, we'll focus more about the really cool other tech with Breach memories. So if you want to go explore some Breach memories ahead of time, by all means. But for now, today we're going to showcase and we're going to talk about, we're running a Sextant for additional breaches. We're running a Sextant for all of our breaches belong to Chayula. Now, you know, you don't need to do Chayula. You can do Uul-Netol as well. Uul-Netol is also very profitable. We're running our maps on dunes. I roll my maps to the highest pack size, rarity, quantity, and all that jazz, as that's the only thing that affects breach, or so I've been told. I'm using a gilded breach scarab for additional breaches, and I'm putting on scarabs for sulphite. One, because I'm delving in my spare time, and two, packed with energy is really cool. Now, if you don't know what that is, we'll go over the Atlas tree in a little bit. But before we do that, I really wanted to spend a couple of minutes and show you what a map looks like, explain to you the thought process behind a map and how it works, and just kind of give you an idea of what to expect going into the strategy. Now we're going to choose Breach for our Atlas device. We're going to open our map and we're going to dive right into dunes. Now, with any other successful strategy, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to identify our breach hands. We're not going to click the breach hands right away. We're going to just make our way over to the boss. We're going to kill the boss. We're going to click on the Azurite nodes ahead of time so we have them all ready to go. And then we'll backtrack. We'll look for altars really quick, and then we'll go hit the breach hands. Now, you don't need to look for altars. You don't need to worry about altars. You don't even need to kill the boss if you don't want to. It's just something I enjoy doing. It also, like, sometimes gives you a conqueror map, and sometimes you get really cool mods on the altars that can just give you some really neat stuff. I also mentioned that we want to look around the map for Nico for the sulphite, and there's a couple of really good things about Nico. While he's giving us sulphite, sometimes he can also give us azurite equal to our sulphite, and we'll just kind of touch on that right after this map. But the big thing to know about Nico and the sulphite is the fact that Nico, with the Atlas passive tree, gives us increased movement speed, damage, additional max resistances, and really overall just makes our character a little bit extra tanky and moves a little bit faster and does a little bit more damage in these maps. Now, I know overall I can be going faster in this map and I'm going a little slow, especially considering the speed of my character, but you know, between talking to you guys, focusing on what's going on, we're going to be a little bit slower than if you guys were to do it. Now, when we hit our breach hand and we make our way around, the big thing we want to note is that we are looking for these clasped hands. We want to make sure that we click these clasped hands. And if you're a caster, you can actually take the caster mastery and it'll, oh, ooh! Okay. If you're a caster, you can actually take the caster mastery and it'll open the breach hands for you. That's the big one that we're looking for, is the big Chayula breach hand. Now, these breaches are really cool. They drop a lot of very interesting things, and you don't want to be like me and accidentally maybe kind of sort of hit that breach and start that one prematurely. But essentially what we're doing is we're opening the breach. The breach is going to open at a nice pace. We're going to spawn a bunch of mobs. The mobs have a chance of dropping the little Chayula splinters. They also have a chance of dropping the breach rings, which is the big thing that we're looking for. And the really cool thing is we can spawn up to 2 Chayulas per breach, because of the Atlas nodes, which we'll go over. Now, Chayula himself spawning in these is really cool. He has a chance of dropping all of his loot, which has been really neat. We also have a chance at flawless breach stones. We have a chance at his armor. We just overall have a chance at like a lot of really cool things that he can do. But the big takeaway from this is we are mostly just hunting 2 things. One, we're getting splinters, and these splinters, as you'll see when we go over the results, will cover a lot of the cost of everything that we're doing, if not just like one, pretty much do like 2 maps, like covers the cost for like a whole like set of maps. It's actually insane. And by like a set of map, I mean like 16 maps. It's actually kind of wild. And then if you get like super lucky, you just like profit out the wazoo. Now, don't worry, when we go over the calculations and the profits, we're not really going to count on that divine that we just got, because, you know, that's whatever. But overall, you'll see I'm just going along the outskirts of the map. I'm killing all the mobs as they spawn. I've actually considered re-rolling into a strategy that can do this better, or like a character that can do this better, either being like a fulcrum character or an EA elementalist or something that just really explodes. I know there's a bunch of people who are probably saying, oh my God, you could be playing tornado shot or lightning arrow. I know that's also on the list, but if you have some really good ideas for things that are able to hit the whole screen and explode the whole screen, by all means, please let me know. Now you'll see that's the third breach that we've done. This is number 4. We have number 5 down there. So, you know, we got lucky, and we have 6 breaches on this map, as you have the small chance of spawning additional breaches. So we're just gonna go over here. We're gonna click the Uul-Netol hand. Usually in a map, we see it Chayula at least once. So if we don't see him sometime in the next 2 breaches, I would be very surprised overall. But usually we see him a couple of times a map. Usually. Of course, you know, RNG is RNG, and sometimes we get lucky and sometimes we don't get lucky. Now, something very important to note about the strategy, the amount of splinters that you're going to get and the amount of Chayula breach zones that you're going to get and the amount of rings that you're going to get are 1000% reliant on how fast you as the player clear the map, kill the mobs inside of the breach, and make your way around. So while yes, I am playing a melee character and I do enjoy this character a lot, this is probably not the best choice for this, as the explosions, while cool, aren't as large as we would like them. Also, the range at which I can attack and move is a little bit limited, so I'm assuming my profits, looking at what I know I already have, would be a lot higher if I played a character that was able to clear and move faster than what I'm already doing. But as you can see with my basic character here, playing a melee character, we do a pretty good job so far of like clearing out this map and looting everything. Now, I know there's one guy who's freaking out and is probably typing a very angry comment about all the looting that we're doing and all the clicking, and well, oh my God, there's 7 on this map. Hello? I don't mind the clicking. I enjoy it. I know it's probably not the strategy for some people and it might be too much clicking, but you know, unfortunately we don't have loot pets or things that can make this a little bit easier. But every major strategy, Blight included, is a ton of clicking and a ton of this and a ton of that. But if you're one for not clicking or you're one for not doing a lot of small trades, this might not be a strategy for you. And I, you know, thank you for watching and like supporting me, and I understand. I guess we're not gonna see the Chayula. See, I messed up there. I wasn't supposed to be looting during that breach. I should have actually have been like running around and like not not looting. I couldn't help myself. I saw it and I wanted it. All right, maybe we get a Chayula on this one. Yeah, man, I gotta buy mats too for farming after this. Oh, there, see? There's the double. Dang! Heck yeah, I'll take it. See, that's the trick, man. Just gotta start recording. The game knows you're recording and it never lets you down, man, like clockwork. This map has been juiced, man. A divine, a full breach zone. Oh my God, how do I even begin to like complain? It's awesome. Eventually, I'd like to buy loot boxes and get me the map device that lets me time my maps, but I know like people are gonna be like, oh my God, this is so slow. I'm like, yeah, you know, it's a little slow, but it's fine. It all comes down to a strategy that you enjoy. We're gonna make sure we get all of our breach rings. We're gonna look all around, double check that we didn't miss any, and then we're gonna leave. All right, let's look at how that map went. We got a whole divine. We got a whole breach zone from the boss. We made a whole breach zone. We made another whole breach zone, and we got 9 additional fragments. We also got a hunter map, which is pretty cool, but we're not going to count the hunter map towards anything. And then we're going to put away all the little stuff that we just don't care about. And we got a ton, and I mean a ton of rings from that one map. That one map alone was 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 rings. That's crazy. Just gonna sort these all out here really quick. We're gonna put our I-84 rings up here. And let's talk about the results, how it looks, what happened, what to expect, what not to expect. So in my 32 map test, that was map number 32. So I've run 32 maps with the setup that I'm gonna go over and show you, and these are what the results look like. At the end of 32 maps, we have gotten 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 56, 57, 58 full breach stones, 17 additional splinters. We've made one grasping mail because I ran out of room. We probably have another 2 grasping mails here. We have a 3rd grasping mail here. We've gotten a couple of Esh breach stones. We've gotten an Uul-Netol breach stone. We've gotten a Toll breach stone. We've gotten 3 raw divines to drop. We've made an entire stack and a half of fortunates, and we've gotten an empower card. So something to note. Why do I have the rings separated? Well, one, we want to separate 83 rings together from 84, and we'd like to set 84s from 85s, because when we convert them and we turn them into grasping mails, we want them to be all the same eye level. So if I were to sell 60 of these, or 59 83s, or 59 84s, I should say 59 84s, and then 183, the grasping mail itself will be eye level 83. So something to keep in mind, that you want to do your best to sell the exact same eye level on all of the rings. Why are we picking up the rings? Well, as I showcased in the last video, grasping mails come from turning in a bunch of Chayula rings to the vendor. Now we'll be IDing these at the end of the video. And when I sell a set of 60 of them, I get a grasping mail. Now, as I had mentioned, and I'm going to grab all of these rings, if I take all of my 84 rings, and then I grab 183 ring. I know this is going to drive somebody nuts because I'm clicking a million times. And somebody's going to be like, but the add-on and the scroll wheel, and I know. But this is for science. And I put this 83 ring in. This grasping mail goes to 83. Now, if I take the 83 ring out, I grab another 84 ring. I bring them back. I click them all in. 84. So that's the good one. Let's grab all of these while we're at it. Grasping mails themselves are really interesting. Now note, as in my last video, I had mentioned selling and buying them unidentified. I have since then learned that grasping mails are a hot commodity to scam with. So I no longer advocate to buying and or selling them unidentified, as you can 5-to-1 grasping mails and get them sold back to you from the vendor unidentified without a grasping mail mod. Now, what is a grasping mail mod and how does that work? Now, when you identify a grasping mail, sometimes they come with prefixes or suffixes that contain a mod specific to the breach boss. In the case of this armor here, it is of Zoth. It is eye level 86. It is fractured with armor's overcapped fire. I bought this right before I started recording this video for 95 divines. These armors fractured are very expensive. These armors unfractured are very expensive. Just looking at armors overcapped on a grasping mail, these start at 12 divines, going very high, very fast, and pretty much fly off the shelf. There's a lot of combinations of modifiers on grasping mails that are worth a lot of money. I showcased a lot of this in the last video, so if you haven't watched it again, I really encourage you guys to go check it out. But grasping mails can be really cool big ticket gambling item if you're feeling adventurous or you want to try something different. Now, I did check on TFT and I have looked on the trade site. You can buy these rings in bulk. There are people who just sell the rings and pick them up. I also highly encourage you guys to turn them back on your filter, as you can sell the rings for like 3C a piece, 5C in bulk. It's kind of nuts. Also, the other strategy for the video coming out in a couple days, we'll also talk about another way to farm a lot of rings. So if you kind of want to get on the farming train for rings, by all means, let me know in the comments down below and I'll make sure to push it out a little bit sooner. But yeah, so you can see we did 32 maps. Out of 32 maps, we got 4 grasping mails, all of these breach stones, and pretty much a bunch of extra rings and extra stones that we get to go sell. Now, each one of these Chayula breach stones are 70C a piece, or they're 3 for 10 in bulk. So we've gotten a whole lot of divines worth of that. The actual sextants that we use, I have them here. If I refresh at the time of recording, The 4 mod or 4 use belongs to Chayula. These are about 20C a piece. I'll put a link to this in the description down below. And if I refresh these, I decided to use the winged or the elevated additional breach for 135C. For me, the cost was worth it to add an additional breach. This gives us 140, 150C, but you can see right away we did 32 maps, so I spent 300C in these sextants, and I've made my money back 100 times over. If you choose to not do this one and you only want to run a 4-use one, they're pretty cheap. They're like 10C, 7C. You don't need the extra breach. I know there's somebody doing the math right now calling me crazy, but for me, the extra breach was worth it. You don't need the extra breach. But I mean, whatever. You know, work towards your budget or what you want to do or how you guys want to do things. As far as the Atlas strategy goes, it's pretty straightforward. We take everything that says breach, everything at all. We're going to be taking the fact that we have additional breaches. We want to spawn more monsters in our breach. We take everything is belonging to Chayula. We already have everything belonging to Chayula, but we take this because, as you saw in the video, we duplicated your Chayula. So this is really good and gives us multiple attempts at looks or multiple looks at Chayula. This one gives us the Uul, the open hand of Chayula. Pretty much what that means is there's a hand, one of those things that you click, and it belongs to Chayula or Chayula. And what that means is when you click that hand, it's going to give you splinters of all of the different fragments and all the different breach stones. That's why you see I have a bunch of different breach stones. And this boss itself can spawn, and he can drop additional splinters and additional breach stones. We're going to be taking within their grasp. This way we have a chance of dropping full breach stones, which you saw happens in the video. I have yet to find a flawless breach stone, but a couple of my friends who are running the strategy have indeed found flawless breach stones. We take this Eve of Invasion. As you saw in the video now too, it did proc. We got 2 additional breaches. We normally have 5. We had 7 in the attempt we just did. We come over here. We take power struggles so that with breach boss hands in your map have a 4% chance to spawn a breach boss. So every time you click one of those hands, which is there's always going to be a hand, there's a 4% chance every breach that the boss can just immediately spawn. And then we're going to open and close our breach maps, or our breach is 30% slower. I chose this one instead of this one, simply due to the fact of the nature of my character. If you have a faster clearing character or a character that can hit more of the screen, I really encourage you to pretty much play around and see what you like and what you don't like and what works for you. Lastly, we're going to be taking otherworldly artifacts just to increase our monster density and give us more of a unique chance to drop the unique items. Because, I mean, if we get some Skin of the Loyals, it's pretty good, man. Or, you know, any of the cool Chayula items. Now, I had also mentioned that you can run Uul-Netol as well, and you can get anticipation from him. The Uul-Netol fragments or breach stones, they're worth about 60C a piece. And it doesn't really matter if you do Uul-Netol or Chayula. The big ticket is that we're hunting the rings, and the rings are where the money is, and the rings are what we want to do. Now, I had also mentioned that I had Sulphite on my map. We do that to take Pact with Energy, so you gain 1% additional max elemental resistances per Sulphite vein or chest found in your map. You increase your damage by 35% for each one you click, and your movement speed by 15%. That's pretty much why you go into the map, you kill the map boss, you run all around, you click all the Sulphite nodes, and you get all that. Now, also, when you click on those Sulphite nodes, there is a chance, it's one of these nodes, if you choose to take it. I think it's this one. No. Where is it? It's this one. It's this one. Your Sulphite veins and chests in your map have a chance to contain an equal amount of azurite. What this means is when I click a Sulphite node, if I get 2,000 Sulphite, I can get 2,000 azurite. Why is this important? Something to note is if I go over to the mine encampment and I talk to Nico, if I get 2,000 a map and I go to him and I buy these, that means I get 10 or a little under 10 resonators, or like 5 resonators a map. What that means is if I start doing a ton of these maps with Pact with Energy and Nico and I get a ton of azurite, I can then turn my azurite into 1 socket resonators and sell the 1 socket resonators in bulk. You sell 85 to a divine, and pretty much you're just boosting your maps up using 1 simple scarab or Nico or a mission. You're getting a ton of extra, just pretty much profit across the board. It really doesn't hurt to click and doesn't hurt to take. Now on my Atlas tree, I have been experimenting with the extra points. I took harvest, so if I see the harvest, I like to run the harvest. Harvest juice is really expensive. I also personally need a lot of harvest juice, So this strategy is going to have a ton of extra points that you can like pretty much mix and match and play with. This exact atlas tree will be in the description down below if you want to copy it directly. Now note, you don't need to take the harvest nodes. You don't need to do harvest. You can pretty much put those points wherever you want, as the main focus of what we're doing is breach on breach on breach and a little bit of Nico just for the extra benefits of Nico. And we're pretty much taking the Shadow of Hunger and all of the altar nodes. Now you can either do blue or red. It doesn't really matter. Tailor your tree accordingly. I have personally always been a fan of blue. And yeah, that's it. That's the strat. I've been having a good time with it. Now the real fun part. Now we kind of hope that one of these is really good. We're praying for armor is overcapped by fire and armor is overcapped by evasion. That would be, I would die. I would straight die. And I don't know what I would do with myself, and I would be so freaked out. But friends, no, I'm not actually gonna cut. I thought about cutting it. I'm not gonna do it. All right, armor 1. No, it's beard. Vulnerability and intimidate. Okay. Armor 2. Dang it, intimidate again. What is this? I'm getting scammed. Okay. Power charge on killing a frenzy enemy, covered in ash, shock reflection. That's pretty cool. Probably worthless, but pretty cool. Oh yeah, it's not worth anything. Sadness. All right, last one. Whoa! Nice! Overcapped by fire on an 84. Dang! Yeah! $10, 15 divines. Heck yeah. Awesome. Oh yeah, I love this strat. I can't wait. I'm gonna do more of it. Anyways, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. For now, friends, I'm gonna get this video out to you guys, and I'll see you all in the next one.